All right, this is me a quick run through of my current deck profile for Mermail Atlantean, where it's sitting at currently. This is a 40 card main. I don't like to go higher than 40 for water just because uh, the amount of starters here are very limited, and so I like to have 40 card, even a 39 card in the main with like an upstart goblin to so that way it's easier to get to your Prince, Diva, Teus, etc. Yeah, so we'll just start with the starters. There are 7 1-card starters. Very typical. Everyone knows them. 3 Diva, 3 Prince, and 1 for 1. 1 for 1, it's okay. It's good to get you to Prince. Sometimes it can feel bad because you have to spend a card on it. But yeah, I mean, it's just another copy of Prince. Prince is honestly, I like Prince more than I like Diva. Diva's great, and obviously, your best combos do include normaling Diva. It's just that it's so easy to get hand trapped on the Diva, and then your combos just kind of start there. Whereas with Prince, a normal Prince send Dragoons for cost, it kind of puts your opponent in an awkward position, and it just allows you to, it kind of guarantees you to play through at least one hand trap, and so that's why I like Prince a lot more. But yeah, so just seven 1-card starters, and then so because the starters are so limited in this deck, we have to play. I like to play a very high count of superior extenders. So I'm playing 15 superior extenders. That being 3 Teus, 3 Abyss Shark, 2 Megalo, 3 of the new Ice Jade. I think it's called Ice Jade Ran Arginine. I don't fucking know. 1 Pike, and then your 3 Dragoons. So going through the superior extenders here, obviously Dragoons is an obvious 3 of, and basically the way that the superior extenders work in this deck is that these are all considered superior extenders because they work in relation with the Dragoons. So if you're not opening your Diva 1 for 1 or Prince, you're opening one of the waters here that that discard the Dragoons to play. Obviously, Abyss Shark does not fit in that role, but what Abyss Shark does do is a free summon that searches your Pike or another fish, and so that is just that's a good extender in and of itself. And so Abyss Shark with Diva or with Prince is still offers you a lot of advantage. But the main superior extenders here, being the Mermails and the Ice Jade, they all allow you to discard a water to summon, and so. Megalo, I would say, might be one of the worst, just because it requires 2 waters. But you can still just discard Dragoons off of it to get to Diva or Prince if you don't open with it. And there are still combo lines with Megalo, so Megalo's not bad. And yeah, there are a lot of people play Megalo at 1. I see right now. I think I like 2 because typically on your first turn combo, you're going to be playing 1, and on your follow-up, you usually will have a way to activate Prince again to do another Dragoon search and another loop. Well, I typically feel like you don't have a way to kind of kill your opponent in a more simplified game state if they go through breaking your board, but you're able to play on the next turn and go for game. I like having 2 Megalos because I like to search 1 on the first turn for my combo and then 1 on the follow-up to kill. And I feel like it just gives you another Sea Serpent target for the Dragoons. So that's why I'm currently playing Megalo at 2. I don't think 3 is necessary, but I also think 1 is too little. I've lost a few games just because I only play 1. I was going with the Tace and Abyss Shark. They kind of both serve the same role. I do play an additional fish, but mainly these guys are here to search our Pike. And I was originally playing like 2 Abyss Shark and 3 Teus, just because, and with the only search target being Pike. But I just felt like opening Abyss Shark was amazing, opening Teus was amazing, and I feel like I needed to maximize my consistency of seeing my superior extenders, which these guys are the best extenders in the deck. So I just wanted to maximize my chance of seeing one of them or both. Both is great. So yeah, so I play 3 Abyss Shark. 3 Mermail Abyss Teus. Teus is pretty obvious. Searches your gun, your Pike, and then Teus with Dragoons is a great combo that plays around Nibiru. And so yeah, we're obviously playing 3 of those. I already went over 3 Dragoons. It's just mandatory to play 3 of that. Yeah, Pike is considered a superior extender. because one, discarding Dragoons off of it does get you protection through Nib into a Bahamut Shark, into Toad, and then any other extenders will continue your plays there. And then, yeah, your main combos are trying to get to Teus or Abyss Shark with Prince or Diva, so that way you can get to the Abyss fish link monster that summons a fish from your hand. So you're usually able to summon Pike in all your first turn combos if you have access to Teus or Abyss Shark. And then we have the new Ice Jade. The new Ice Jade is great. It's a discard of water from hand, and then it summons a field, and it also summons a level 3 token, which is a water as well. And so none of the real link monsters none of the extra deck monsters or link monsters in the extra deck for water require like effect monsters for their link summons. None of the ones that you're trying to summon off of him. So not only can this card serve as a way to get into synchro plays and to like send Dragoons or Prince for plays or infantry, this card also is really good because you can discard special disc, special a token, and then you can link this off to make any of your link to water plays, whether it's the Abyss link that summons a fish in your hand, or if it's Coral Anemone, the Marincess, or if a Starboy for some reason. Yeah, it's a great all-around card. And what I really like about the Ice Jade as well is that not only is it a good superior extender by discarding the Dragoons or making any link monster or adding to your synchro plays, but this is also probably my favorite card, I would say, to open going second, just because it offers so much, whether being able to discard infantry or Dragoons to start your plays into a board, and then they're basically forced to respond to this instantly, or you can threaten to make the new Ice Jade synchro, the level 10, that basically gives protection to your monsters and can interrupt your opponent and protect your monsters from your opponent when they're trying to mess up your plays. So this is a great going second card. It's a great superior extender, and yeah, I really like it. Really versatile. So those are my superior extenders, 15. Next, for additional extenders, we have 6. We have Silent Sea Nettle at a 3, and then Minia Ruka, Deep Sea Minstrel, and Abyss Gund. So these are our additional extenders. Nettle basically serves the role as like a pot of avarice for the deck. Another issue with the deck I found is that having like if you're going first, turn 3, turn 5 gas is really low in the tank for this deck. So I like Sea Nettle because it puts your waters back, but then it's better than Avarice because it's a little bit faster, because not only is it a level 4 water, you can special it from your hand as long as you control a water. So there's so this adds to the availability of multiple Bahamut Toad plays in a turn. This card, I just felt like was a better Avarice for the deck, because you don't really need the draw off of the Avarice. You really just need to be able to put Dragoons and put extra deck monsters back into the deck so you can just research them. So yeah, Sea Nettle at 3, I like it. Debating to put it at 2, but right now I'm still kind of going through testing the consistency of having the 3. I think I always like seeing it. Let's see, and then Ruka. This is a really good level 4 water. This is my other fish target for Abyss Shark in case I have Teus or I already have Pike and I need something to search. Ruka's great. And what this card does is if I activate a water effect, or if a water effect is activated, I can chain this and then special it from my hand, and it has no any other restrictions on it. So these serve as like additional level 4s for the deck, where I'm really trying to focus on making double Bahamut Toad plays in a turn, and so this just helps me. And yeah, Ruka's really good, and both these cards can be summoned off of Coral Anemone. Another issue with the deck is that like with Mermail Abyss Pike and Dragoons, you can't summon those cards off of Coral Anemone because it says you can only summon a monster that has 1,500 or less attack points. So these cards help kind of get around that issue as well. So even if you're just discarding these, you're still summoning them back with the Coral Anemone and just helping you get to your level 4 or your rank 4 plays in the Bahamut. And then so I'll go over a gun real quick. You only need 1. Gives a search target for Pike and for Teus. And like this card, it's good. You know, you have Crocosaurus, the Synchro. This is a good discard fodder for it to pop cards. This is really good with, you know, Megalo discarding Gun to summon your Pike back if you have like a level 4, rank 4 option, or summon your Taste back if you just want to go into Gaios. And yeah, I mean, Gun, it's only needed as a 1-of, so the card's great. And then Minstrel, you know, Minstrel's an interesting card because a lot of people want to play it at 3, some at 2. I'm only playing it 1 right now. I liked playing it at 3, and I understand why you would play it at 3, because you want to be able to just open the Minstrel and open any water, preferably Dragoons. And then if your first play is just activate Minstrel, discard Dragoons to look at your opponent's hand and snipe out, you know, Joel and Lockbird or Nib, that's awesome. The thing is I find that Minstrel is usually one of the cards that are ending up in my hand when I'm breaking. So I wanted to mitigate the amount of brick cards I have. I want to mitigate, and so basically, if the card isn't an extender of some sort or truly advancing my game state, I was just playing it at 1, and Minstrel kind of falls in that line. You can search Minstrel, and so while you might have to extend through other hand traps, and while you might be more susceptible to Droll, I would say at this point, Minstrel is probably just going to stay as a 1-of in my deck, because if I start playing 3 of it, I'm going to start bricking on either multiple Minstrels or Minstrel when it could have been an extender of some sort, because basically if I add 2 more Minstrels, I then need to cut 2 cards of extenders somewhere in my deck, and I just can't do that. So currently Minstrel's at a 1-of. It's just fine. Sometimes I do miss the second just because there's a lot of turn 1s where I'll end up using Minstrel to snipe a hand trap or an Nibiru or check the hand. And in that same turn, I'll also be using Gund. And so I'll run out of level 3s to search on the follow-up if I'm not recycling it. But mainly for like Deep Sea Diva, if I use Minstrel on my first turn to snipe, I do like on my follow-up, if I have a follow-up normal summon Diva on turn 3, usually I'm summoning Minstrel there. Then I'm recycling cards, and then I'm just continuing plays. Because you can go like Diva, like turn 3, you go normal Diva, summon Minstrel, replenish your deck by putting a Dragoons back or a Prince, and then you can link off the Minstrel and Diva into a Coral Enemy to summon like a Prince from your graveyard that might already be there, and then you can, you know, activate Prince if it wasn't available before, if you didn't have enough Atlantean targets. But yeah, so that's currently my additional extenders for the deck. Just 1 core removal. It's just the infantry at a 1-of. It's a limited Atlantean count here, but I've again with the infantry versus like the Minstrel, I don't want to play cards that aren't advancing my game state. And yeah, it's nice that you can normal infantry and then normal Diva or Prince, and it kind of acts as an extender in that point. But it's not really giving the deck what it needs. And while I do like it at 2, I like the available pops, and I like that when you have the 3 Dragoons and 2 infantry, you're more likely to always have a live turn 3 Prince effect. But I'm currently just working on the limited amount of resources and just having these cards more as a 1-of, because I want to search them, and if I open them, it's fine. But yeah, and I also feel like that's where the Sea Nettle is kind of coming in to help with the Minstrel and with the infantry. This card, you know, being able to banish this from my graveyard, putting the infantry back or the Minstrel back. That's kind of how I get around the 1-ofs. And I also did think about putting the Megalo to 1, so that way I could fit. I think other cards called Deep Sea Artisan. It's a level 1 Deep Sea card, and it's also a really nice combo extender that I'm looking into, but. I currently feel like the second Megalo is needed, and while I did think about, you know, Nettle could be banishing to shuffle back your Megalo, I feel like Megalo is you know, you're not guaranteed to have your Nettle in your graveyard, and I feel like I need some guarantee that a second Megalo will be in my deck for that follow-up play. On the bricks for the deck, Lapis and the Abyss Scale is the one that negates spells. You kind of have to play it. It helps against too many problem cards in the game, and Lapis is another card you have to play. I was testing a version of this deck that played 3 Minstrel and 3 Salvage. So that way, even if you open this, you could discard it, play Salvage, and salvage out back to your hand, and then you can reveal in special. So that way, it made this card a lot less of a brick. And with Minstrel, you could discard like Minstrel Diva, Minstrel Prince from your hand. Look at your opponent's hand, snipe a card, and then activate Salvage and put it both back. It's still something I'm testing with. It's just a lot more of a going first variant, and can't fit as many hand traps as this deck does. But yeah, so these cards are just kind of the bricks of the deck, pretty obvious on what they do. And then yeah, I'm playing 9 hand traps in this deck. So I'm playing 3 Ash, 3 Valor, 3 Imperm. I just kind of want to cover. Just kind of want to be able to cover all my bases. I didn't want to worry about. I didn't want to main Droll or Nibiru. Well, Nibiru's not really good in this strategy just because it conflicts with like Abyss Shark. But yeah, 9 hand traps. I want to be able to consistently have 1 hand trap at least, but I see very often I'm opening up with two hand traps, which is just fine, which is good in this deck. That way, because if you're opening up with 2 to 3 hand traps, then you're probably stopping your opponent from building up too much of a board to where on your turn you can usually break that. And water does have a pretty easy time OTKing if depending on the cards in your hand. But so yeah, 9 hand traps. I like it. I don't think I want to go down currently. I was testing 6. 6 was just a little too light. I wasn't consistently opening 1 hand trap. But yeah, I currently don't feel the need to change the hand traps at the moment. Just kind of sticking with this in the main. DD Crow is not bad, but I just wanted cards that hit all matchups, and I want to be able to hit like the road decks really well as well. And so yeah, 9 hand traps. And so this is that's the deck's a 40 count again. Extra deck real quick. For links, playing Atlantis, Mermail, Bislacia, Cruel Enemy, Abyss Keeper, and Starboy. Starboy is just good for getting your attack up. If you have random waters, you have nothing, then you have no use case for them. You can at least play them to Starboy to have an option to get your cards back to your hand. Also, having like Starboy or Lacia is really good in combination with Toad, because you can boost up your Toads to 2700. So that way, a Fenrir, Cashier Fenrir can't just special and then just attack over the Toad, and nothing you can do about it. So these help with buffing up your Toads a little bit. But yeah, so Starboy, and it's also just good when you need to, if you have a Coral Anemone and it's kind of stuck on the board and you want to get to a Lacia, you can't use a water and Anemone into Lacia. So a lot of times you'll special a water and you'll link that water and Anemone off into Starboy, and then Starboy and a water off into Lacia. But yeah, mainly Starboy is just kind of used to clear up your board when you need monster space. Abyss Keeper, really good card. It's kind of mandatory in this deck because you're so focused around summoning Pike off of searching from Abyss Shark or Abyss Tias. So yeah, Abyss Keeper on summon, you can special a fish to a link zone it points to. Unfortunately, it cannot be used for a link summon for the rest of the turn. I have looked into ways on like cards you'd play to clear this. Like there's like a Moray of Avarice or something, and it's like banish a water from your field, draw 2 cards. That'd be great because banishing this for draw cards would be great. But I don't know. I'm still looking into it. But yeah, so Abyss Keeper's good. Coral Anemone, obvious, summons a water from your grave. This is like one of your main combo extenders. It lets you bait your opponent and to like, you can like just discard Prince to try and do other plays, and then once they've interrupted you enough, you can special the Anemone, special the Prince back, and then finally go off. It summons back your level 4s to make Bahamut plays. Also, Anemone summons back the Ice Jade card, because Ice Jade card is 1500 attack. So even if you have the Ice Jade and Megalo, but no Tias, you can still go an enemy, summon Arginine back from your grave, and then do a rank 7 play with the Megalo on board. So that's good too. And then Lacia is good for your M boards. It makes your Abyss Scale live, the equip spell. It's good discarding infantry off, good discarding dragoons off, or other water, or just if you bricked, this is probably the best play to go into, just because it'll at least let you go into search your Abyss TS or other mermails that you need for your next turn play. And then if your opponent does make the mistake of actually like killing this thing, like destroying it by battle or card effect, the graveyard trigger for this card is crazy. So it actually gives you a pretty big comeback opportunity there if they do destroy it. And then Atlantean is a pretty neat card. It requires only one effect monster, but it's a link 4. And what it does is that you can activate an effect. It's an ignition effect. You can banish all monsters on the field, and then special back all monsters to the field that were banished in either face up or face down defense position or attack position. And so, but then there's a stipulation around it where if you are currently locked into waters, whether through Coral Anemone or through Sea Nettle or Abyss Shark, that all those cards say you can only special waters the rest of the turn. Atlantean is that it works really well with Atlantean because you are the one specialing back the monsters. So if you banish all monsters on the field, while being waterlocked, you can only summon back water monsters, and so you cannot summon back your opponent's monsters if they're not water. And so it kind of offers a chance for a complete board wipe to your opponent, and then you get all your monsters back, and then that's kind of how you swing for game going second. This is like the blowout card. And another cool interaction is that if you kaiju'd your opponent and your kaiju's on their field, the water kaiju, and you use this effect to banish all waters on the field, that water kaiju will come back to your field. So that's another really cool interaction. For Xyz, this proxy right here is a second totally awesome. But yeah, pretty standard stuff here. Gaios for the rank 7s. Rank 7s are pretty consistent in this deck, and then we're very much the goal of the deck, and we are very consistently going double toed off the Bahamut. So yeah, not much to say there. That's really all I need in the main for Xyz. And then last is Synchros. Level 10 is the Ice Jade Synchro. We have a level 9 Crocosaurus, a level 8 Crystal, level 7 Deep Sea Prima Donna, and then Brionac. Let's see. Starting off with Brio. I like Brio for 2 reasons. One, not destroying the card. Kind of like how Coral Dragon does, is a lot better. I feel like currently I'm spinning back cards to the extra deck or to the opponent's hand, and being able to discard as many waters as you want. That can come up too. And then another really good interaction with it is that if you have Deep Sea Diva, wherever that card is, I think it's back here. So if you go Diva, normal Diva, Special Prince, you can go Effective Prince to send a water, to add a water, and then Dragoon's Effect will add Lapis. You can go Lapis to Special, and then you can synchro these into a level 6. This is going to be going first or second play. If you're going first and you have nothing else but like let's say you open a brick and like 3 hand traps and a diva, you can do this play, and then you can synchro these off for a Crystal Wing, and this will at least allow protection through a nib and give you a once per turn either player's turn monster negate, which I find is quite nice. And this is and then also going second, it'd basically be the same case to where you get to this point and you can activate Brio, discard your Dragoons, search whatever Sea Serpent, but then also synchro these off into Crystal Wing into an opponent's board. And so I like those combo lines. And an issue with Coral Dragon is that if you play Coral Dragon's a tuner, so there's no way to do this synchro play into the Crystal. And yeah, so that is it's the reason for playing Brionac. And then it's like just went over Crystal Wing. Crystal Wing is the card that I usually play when my hand's a brick, but I have Diva, but just no other water extenders of any kind. I can at least go into Crystal Wing. It's also if you don't end up using your Lapis on turn 1, or if you're able to activate Silent Sea Nettle to put your waters back. This is always a nice like a turn 3 combo line if you didn't play the Crystal Wing on your first turn, because you can't summon, or you cannot summon Crystal Wing if you plan to use the Abyss Shark or Sea Nettle, because Abyss Shark says you have to have only waters on the field, so that does not work with the Crystal Wing. And then Sea Nettle says you can only summon waters for the whole turn, whether it was before or after you played Sea Nettle. So you're completely locked out of this card if you have your extenders. But if you have your extenders, you probably didn't need this in the first place. But then as a turn 3 follow up, if you have Diva in your hand and you're able to replenish your deck to have these cards, well then you have Crystal Wing access. And then, like I said, if you brick, that you can at least go into a Crystal Wing that gives you the monster negate. And if you're bricking, that usually means you have about 2 or 3 hand traps in your hand. So yeah, that's a reason for Crystal Wing. Prima Donna, it's just a good combo piece. It's good with like a Abyss Shark Diva. And sometimes it can be good with brick hands. If you open the Minstrel and you banish a card and you just need to be able to get the Prince, this can get you to Prince sometimes. And another reason why I do want to try testing Deep Sea Artisan is because of this card, because you can go like Prima Donna effect to summon Artisan from deck, and then Artisan will mill a card and then summon Dragoons from your grave. And if you have Prince already on board, which you typically would in those type of combos, you can go like into Crocosaurus with Dama, Artisan, and Prince and get a draw 2. But yeah, so Prima Donna is good. Crocosaurus, it's mainly here because you need a way to draw cards. You're typically drawing 1 card, sometimes 2 off the Crocosaurus, and it just helps you draw into more of your center pieces. And if you've gone through, 5 to 10 cards of your deck, and then you activate Croc, you're just more likely to draw either like an impactful hand trapped or a more impactful extender. So yeah, Croc is nice. And then a double discard pop. The 2 discard isn't preferred, but still having another pop is cool. And then and also this card can be summoned off of Coral Anemone because its attack stat starts at 1,000. So, but yeah, I would say it's mainly here for the draw, and then on the more bricky hands, it can be a card that you can play just to at least pop your opponent's cards. And then we play the level 10 Ice Jade. This card's it's situational when it comes up. If the Ice Jade monster is if the Ice Jade monster here is being used as an extender, you're probably not going into this. But if you've been able to go to like full combo and you still have this in your hand, you can just special and then make another level 10. I also like if I need board clearance, I'll even special the token, and I'll synchro into this, and then link this off to make any of your links, because what this says in your graveyard is that if your opponent banishes a card, you can special this from your graveyard. So it's really easy to get back on the field. It serves as an interruption by banishing cards it responds to, and then just being an end. But what I mainly like it for is going second into opponent's boards, because it's a quick effect. You can activate all the face-up cards, all the face-up monsters you control cannot be banished or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And so that just offers a lot of defense when trying to play into a board. There's a lot of popping effects, a lot of banishing effects, so it just kind of plays around it all. And then just being a 3,000 body that can come back every time your opponent banishes something. And that's infinite. That's every time it's in the graveyard. You can do that again. So it's a solid card, solid like a boss monster for the deck. Yeah, and then your side is just situational for like whatever locals or whatever event you're playing. I'm playing the Moonland Glacia in my side because it's good against some matchups, bad against some others. I would call Glacia somewhat of a brick. But if you're going first and you can side out the hand traps, then this is something I would put in if I'm playing against something like a rogue strategy, or if I'm playing against Pearly. This is a good card in that case. And yeah. Just 1 crow, because it's just all I can fit into the side. It's just situational for whatever deck, whether it's Salad, Tearlament, any graveyard based strategy. It's just another hand trap I can add to my lineup. 3 droll over something like 3 nib as like the high impact hand trap, because the issue with nib is that if you play nib, then you can't summon your Abyss Sharks. And so I don't want to be stuck in that chain, and there's ways to get around it by playing the Water Charmer Link monster, but that's something I haven't currently tested with. So I chose to play Droll because at my locals I know that there's a lot of there's like a lot of like I guess decks that this would be effective against, and I just figured that this is a good hand trap for a deck for like the crazy combo decks that I'll just lose turn 1-2. I'll just lose like on turn 1-2. So I just wanted an impactful hand trap, and so I picked that. 3 of the water kaiju. I like the water kaiju a lot because it deals with situational boss monsters like towers types cards. It has good synergy with the deck because if anything, it can just be discarded water materials for your other extenders. And then it also works really well, like I said earlier, with Atlantis, where you can tribute your opponent's card, go Atlantis. Zealand's effect will then banish the kaiju and then summon it back to your field, and so that's really cool. And then there's also situations I've had where I open 2 kaijus in Diva, and I'll go tribute my opponent's monster, special my own kaiju, play Diva, and then synchro this and Diva into the Ice Age synchro. And so that's another situation I've seen come up. And so this is mainly here for unknown decks, unknown rogue decks, and like the Pearly strategy. So yeah. Play 3 of the kaiju. And then I play 2 tactics. It's just kind of a generic card here for when either I'm going first or second, depending on the matchup. I'm probably putting this in going first, and I'm probably cutting down my hand trap line a little bit. But yeah, tactics is fine. Nothing really to say about it. I play 2 lightning storms and the harpy for just obvious, spell and trap card destruction. When you need the board wipes for, because I have labyrinth strategies and I have salamangreat strategies at my locals. So these are really good for blowing that out. And you need to have some type of spell and trap destruction respect. And then my 2 1-ofs here, call by just for going first. I don't main it because I just want to have more in my engine and I just want to have more cards that advance my plays in. Yes. Call by is good into hand traps and it's great with this deck, but I just wanted to maximize my ratios, and it's not a bad card. It's just that was my decision at the time, and I'm still okay with it. And then I am citing Abyss Dweller for graveyard decks like Unchained and Tier Laments and whatnot. It's not needed all the time, so I'm only putting in when I'm going first against those matchups. And I'm probably just citing out one of the Bahamets for it. So I'm probably just playing 1 Bahamut and 2 Toads in the Abyss Dweller, or I was maybe citing out the Crystal Wing Single Dragon. It depends on the matchup, or it depends on how confident I'm feeling. But yeah, so that's currently the deck at this time. I am looking to Deep Sea Artisan. I am looking into like Pot of Prosperities and Small Worlds as other like options for playing this deck. Mainly I'm just currently trying to maximize my consistency and the amount of extenders I have. And yeah, so far it's going so well. I've had good results with it into the current meta, but I'm still learning, and I'm open to hear any and all suggestions or advice that people might have for the strategy. But yeah, that's it.